Welcome everybody. You with Strong Inspirations, the YouTube channel where we give you some strong, good Black history talk to inspire you, to educate you, and even entertain you. Hit the subscribe button so you can get access to all of the videos that we upload weekly, because I find some good people to talk to. And we have a solid brother with us today. His name is Richard Ashby. Richard, welcome for joining us on Strong Inspirations.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Brother, you're looking good. You're looking good, man. You doing your thing, right? You doing your thing, right?
Yes, sir. I'm doing my thing. I'm having a good time. Just celebrated my 66th birthday. I'm doing good, brother.
You're looking well, man. Everybody, I invited Brother Ashby on because a few things. One, he is one of the country's most celebrated librarians. He's been president of a number of organizations and still is. Richard, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I'm the past president of the New York State Black Librarians Caucus. I'm the immediate past president of the Black Caucus of the American Library Association, all 50 states and Africa. I am the vice president and president-elect of the Pennsylvania Black Librarians Caucus, of which I founded in January. I am the co-owner and founder of Literacy Nation, where our motto is with literacy and justice for all, because as we know, you could have all the liberty you want or you think you have, but you have no justice. So you need literacy to truly obtain justice in this country.
Now, you were telling me earlier, part of your charge and Black Librarians' charge is to make sure that authors like myself, and here's my book, Black Business Book, everybody, got to get you a copy of this, that's my plug, that our material gets on the shelves of libraries across of America. How do you feel towards that? How does that work?
So a lot of these big publishers don't want to or will not publish books written by Black people. Sometimes the message is not what they want to hear. And then they want to edit your work and water it down and change the wording in your book. And so it's very hard sometimes for Black people to be published. And my calling and our calling is to seek out people like yourself with books that are relevant, that has a message, and get those books on the library shelves and into the hands of our children in our community. My goal is to not make anyone comfortable when we talk about the Black experience, because the Black experience has not always been comfortable for us. So when you write about microaggressions, when you write about Jim Crow 2020, when you write about police brutality that's been written about since we've gotten here, brutality to the Black man, when you write about that, sometimes those books are suppressed. Sometimes those messages are suppressed. And then you are relegated to going into self-publishing, and oh my God, self-publishing. Oh my God, we want to stay away from that. Self-publisher? No, not here. We take and we promote our Black people that are self-published. We read their books. We have other people read their books. We let them know that what they say is relevant. I'm not interested in making someone comfortable when they read about the Black experience. I want you to squirm in your seat and say, "Oh my God, am I a Becky? Oh my God, am I Michael?" I want to make you uncomfortable. You being uncomfortable makes me comfortable, because now you understand.
Man, people like me, I speak on all of us. We're so appreciative to have somebody with you with that sense of consciousness towards the community, so that we can get the word out. Now, one of the things that you were telling me about is that you, some years ago, and please share this story, had a chance to meet Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Tell us about it.
Oh my God. Okay. So I come from a family full of activists, okay? And my aunt was one of the people who was set at the counter in North Carolina. She sat at the counter in Woolworth. And so I had to be 9 years old. My dad was a police officer His name is Richard. They call him Dick. My mother was a nurse. Her name is Jane. So my mom and dad was Dick and Jane, police officer and a nurse. We lived in suburbia Queens, and my dad was a militant when it did not jeopardize his job as a police officer. Back in the 60s, you know, there were very few black police officers, and you had to toe the line. And so whenever my father had to toe the line to keep his job, he toed the line. So that's just a little history of my dad. And when he could raise hell about being black, he raised hell. So anyway, my aunt came to my mom one day and she said, "Listen, I'm going down to the march. There's going to be a march. Dr. King is going to be at the First Baptist Church in Inwood, Long Island, and I want to take Richie." And my mother said, "No, he can't go with you because, you know, sometimes these marches turn violent, and he's very little, and you're young." She was about 7, 8 years older than me. You know, she's about 10, 15 years older than me. Anyway, my mom said, "No, you can't go." And my aunt's like, "No, no, no, I think he should go. This is something he should see. He should witness this. We think, you know, this is on top of this car, and you stand here, and you stand on the car, and you look over here, and you see the church." "Yes, I see the church." "Well, Dr. King is going to be on those steps, and he's going to speak. And they have these big speakers outside, and you'll hear him. I want you to stay here on the top of this car until I get back." And so she puts me on the back of this car. Whose car am I standing on? I don't know. But back in the 60s and the 50s, the cars had these big wings on the back of them. Remember those big women legs with white socks rolled down around their ankles, men's shoes, and that's all I remember, seeing legs and white socks and loafer shoes. And I'm crawling and I'm crawling and I'm crawling and we're crawling. And where's he at? I don't know where the guy, he's gone. All right, keep crawling. Now I'm crawling, and who should be standing 4 feet from me, looking down at me? And I'm on my hands and knees. It's Dr. King.
Wow.
And I look up, I'm like, "Dr. King, Dr. King." As I'm standing, I'm like, "Dr. King, Dr. King." And as I'm looking at him, the most ridiculous thought in my mind came, ever in my mind came, for all my 66 years. I said to myself, I said, "Self, if you could reach out and grab his suit pocket," he had a suit jacket on with a flap over the pocket,
Right.
"and if you could grab that pocket and rip it, you'll have a piece of Dr. King's suit," because everybody knew I idolized Dr. King. Now, what made me think that I was gonna rip this man's suit? I reached up, I grabbed that pocket, and I went to yank on it, and he caught my hand. He said, "Hi, what's your name?" And I couldn't believe it. Dr. King asked me my name. I was like, "Richard Emmanuel Ashby Jr." And he said, "Well, Richard." And when he said, "Well, Richard," the people handling him said, "Dr. King, we got to move." And Dr. King looked like a monster to me. He was like this, and he was rocking. They were singing, "We shall overcome." Everybody singing, "We shall overcome." And he stopped, and he's talking to me. And I said, "Richard Ashby Jr." And the man said, "Dr. King, we have to go." And he didn't say anything. He says, "Well, how old are you?" I was like, 9. "Dr. King, they're rocking forward, they're trying to move. We got to go." And I'm backing up a little bit. And he says, "I'm talking to Richie." That's a Richie Ashby Jr. He said, "I'm talking." And he says, "Well, what do you want?" What do I want?
Right.
What do I want? I don't know what I want. I want an etch a sketch. I want a rock'em sock'em robot. But
Right.
that's not what he's asking me. So I said, can you come to my house for dinner?" And he said, "Dr. King, we gotta go. We shall." And he said, "No, I can't come this time. But what are you having?" What am I having? This guy's asking me all these questions.
Right.
And they're still rocking. "We shall overcome." And I said, being a black kid out of Jamaica, Queens, my mom from North Carolina, my dad was broke when he grew up. So I said, "What we was having for dinner?" I said, "We having neck bones and rice." All right? He said,
Wow.
"We shall overcome." He says, "That sounds delicious. Next time I come to New York, maybe you could invite me to dinner. And I said, you come to dinner at my house? And the guy goes, Dr. King, we gotta go. Just then, a white lady grabbed my arm and she snatches me onto the curb. You just spoke to Dr. King. Can you tell us what you talked about? And he went on past me. Boom.
So she interviewed you.
She interviewed me. Fox News back then. Channel 5, New York. Well, Lord have mercy. She interviewed me. Now the crowd is moving. I don't know where I am because I can't see the car anymore. All I can hear people just walking past me and rubbing me on my head. Good job, good job. Oh, you met Dr. King, you met Dr. King. Next thing I know, my aunt runs up. She's crying. She picks me up. She goes, you met Dr. King, you met Dr. King. And she's shaking me like,
dang.
And we get home to the neighborhood. All the neighbors are outside because they saw it on the news or something, or the word got way back to Queens. Everybody in the neighborhood is outside my house. You met Dr. King, you met Dr. King. My mom is like beaming with pride. She goes, all you talk about is Dr. King, and you got to meet him. Do you know what this means? And I was like, yes. Well, my dad comes home because the word got around to the precinct where he worked that your son met Dr. King. My dad come home, big black cop, got his uniform on. So you met Dr. King today, right? Yeah, I met Dr. King. And I heard he asked you what you're having for dinner. Yeah, I told him that bones and rice. My father said, instead of saying, I'm glad you met Dr. King, you always talk about Dr. King, but this man says, well, let me tell you something, boy. The next time somebody asks you what you having for dinner, you tell them you having steak and potatoes. My mom said, steak and potatoes? He ain't never had steak and potatoes. You buy us some steak and potatoes, we'll have steak and potatoes. He's not lying to nobody about what we had for dinner. We had neck bones.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So he looked like a monster to me, right? And it wasn't until I was 21 years old and I was watching a documentary about Dr. King. And I was in the New York Institute of Technology on Long Island with a lot of Black kids because I was the president of the Black Association there. And we was watching this movie with Dr. King. And in the movie, Dr. King was marching and he was like this. And I said, oh my God, I met Dr. King when I was a kid. And I told him about his story. I said, but I never understood why he looked like a monster.
Right.
And then I realized why he looked like a monster.
Why?
Because they had their arms under him, holding him up, protecting him. So he was all hunched up when we seen him.
Oh, really?
He was all hunched up because Abernathy had his arm like this. Jesse Jackson had his arm like this. So to wrap this story up, I found out my freshman year that Dr. King was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, 06.
Right.
And I said, all right, I want to be an Alpha. And not only do I want to be an Alpha Phi Alpha brother, I want to meet everybody that was with Dr. King. And so far, I met everyone that was with Dr. King the day he got shot, except for Jesse Jackson. And I will be meeting him sometime in 2021.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And as a result, that encouraged and inspired you to be the president of all the things that you do.
I went to college to I wanted to be a civil rights leader, a Baptist preacher like Martin Luther King, and a congressman. And that's what I wanted to be. God said, no, you're going to be a librarian, and the library is going to be your pulpit.
Unbelievable.
That's what I do.
And libraries have played a significant role in Black history for a long time.
Oh yeah.
In terms of Blacks having the ability to read and write and get access to the research.
So for years you would get beat or killed if you know how to read. Then we started having little libraries in people's houses. Churches had libraries. And then when we were started to be allowed into libraries, integrated into libraries, there was a colored section and the books were beat up. And it took years and years and years. The American Library Association, we would go to conferences at the American Library Association, and you would go to conferences and the Black people weren't allowed in the hotel, weren't allowed to eat in the hotel, weren't allowed to sleep in the hotel. black. Oh my God, you're the director? Yeah, yes, I'm the director. And what I said downstairs still stands, you know. And that's the sad part. There are over 64,000 librarians in the country. 500 of us are men, and only 30 of us are directors of black. Only 30 black men are directors of public libraries in this country. So God has me in a unique spot.
But we keep doing what we do, right?
We keep doing what we do. This is not a job. This is not a career. This is a calling.
That's a beautiful thing. Well, hey, Brother Richard, we're gonna we're gonna put this up and spread this message. I thank you for spending time with us, sharing your story.
Oh yeah.
I got one story. I had a showing of my library at the library, showing of my film, The Business in the Black, at the library in Louisville, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
It's the oldest Black library in the state of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
You know the name of that one?
No, I'm not sure.
Offhand, yeah, it was a beautiful thing, and we had a packed house. So it's people like you that get the word out of what people like me do. So everybody, I want to thank Richard again for joining us. You got some of what his story is. We getting better. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications button, hit the like button. I'm gonna put do you have to your organization that you told us about, the literacy? Give us the website of that.
LiteracyNation.com.
LiteracyNation.com. Look into that, people. And I'm gonna put the link on the bottom of the video. Brother Richard Ashby, and I say brother because he's my frat brother.
06.
Thank you so very much. 06. Thank you so very much for joining us. I'll be in touch real soon.
Okay, my brother. God bless you. And I'll see you.
Strong.
Have a happy holiday. Have a good Kwanzaa.
Yes.